Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ege and this is In Between Books. So guys, today we're going to be doing the end of the year book tag and let's get into it. The most disappointing read of the year, and for me that would be The X. And yeah, I really did not enjoy my reading experience of this book. I just did not like this book at all. And I already read this with my friend, which is the only reason why I completed it. But yeah, so I didn't like anything. I just felt like it was over convoluted, unnecessarily long. Things were being drawn out unnecessarily. And I didn't like the character. There's also Riambel by Priya Hain, and honestly, I love this author. Like, I met her during a book festival, and this book was signed, and she just was such a warm person, and I just really wanted to like her book, but I didn't really like the writing style, so I didn't get to connect with the characters in this book the way I would have loved to. The writing style just took me out. I just did not enjoy the writing style. I think it was too, should I say it was too flowery, or like there was just something about it that I did not vibe with, so it took me out of the book. And yeah, underdog of the year, and for me this would be Drinking from Graveyard's Well by Yvette Ndulowo and Someone Better Than Broken. They are both African short story collections, and like not a lot of people have read these collections, and they are really good short story collections. So yeah, that's why I'm calling them the underdogs of the year. Like, more people need to that. These are really good short story collections. Someone Better Than Broken takes place in Ghana. It's about like how it centers around Ghanaian youths and how they navigate love, friendship, family and expectations, while also like dealing with the state of the country and everything. It's a really good collection, and it's interconnected short story, and everybody knows that interconnected short story collections are the best. So you guys need to read Someone Better Than Broken, and the cover is stunning, guys. It's Drinking from Graveyard Well, which centers the experiences of African women. It's set in Zimbabwe. It deals with various topics such as migration, black tax, culture, and like cultures and tradition. It's a really good collection. Honestly, out of the 12 collection, I think I liked like around 9. Like, this is a good collection. Like, these books are criminally underrated and they should not be. A book that was overhyped. I mean, this will be Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I can't really remember the author's name right now, but Before the Coffee Gets Cold, like the way this book is talked about, I thought I would go into it, and yeah, like my world will be shifted. That's what I thought. And out of is this 6 or 4 collect stories? I think 6 collection. I really like 2 in it. Like, it was an okay collection. The writing was really nice and everything, but it just did not pull me the way I thought it would based on how hyped it is. So I was kind of disappointed, but it was like an okay collection, really. And maybe it's just like I'm just not the audience, so I'm trying not to shit on it. Like, maybe it's just a book that's not for me. But yeah, I went into it thinking this is going to be one of the best things I read this year, and it wasn't, so I was a bit disappointed. So favorite book couple of the year for me would be Joe and Malcolm from Between Friends and Lovers by Shelley Obuobi. I love the way the communication between Malcolm and Joe, because the book has a love triangle where Joe is like still in love with her best friend, and she's like trying to get over her best friend while also trying to like start a relationship with Malcolm, who's like the male protagonist, and she's very honest about her feelings, and they just communicate very well with each other. It was very refreshing, honestly, for someone that has read a lot of miscommunication in romance. Just seeing a couple being honest with themselves and where they were at was just very refreshing to me. So I really enjoyed them in the book. A book that surprised me, for me, that would be Pride and Joy by Louisa Onome. This is a very simple, light-hearted book. It's about a family who loses their matriarch during the Easter weekend, and just the chaos that comes out of it. It was just a very fun, very light book to read, and honestly I wasn't expecting to enjoy the book as much as I did. So that was a really big plus for me. New favorite author discovered in 2024, and first is Damilare Kuku by I say Damilare. The first author is Damilare Kuku, and she wrote Only Big Bonbon Matters Tomorrow. Yeah, this is a really good book. It's about a young girl who wants to get a BBL done after her father passes away. She wants to use her inheritance money to get a BBL, and we just kind of see like how her family reacts to this information. But like, this book is about body dysmorphia and like the contributions we as a society make to it. And the second author I discovered was Daniel Black, and I read this author's book Perfect Peace, and now I want to read everything this author has written. So initially when I read this Perfect Peace, I thought it was a book about a trans person, but it's not. It's basically about a young boy who was raised as a girl. Like his mother has 7 boys or 6 boys. He has 6 children and all are boys, and she wanted a girl child so badly that she lies to her family and to her child that she's a girl, he's a girl. So he basically, until he was 8 years old, he lived as a girl. His name was Perfect. He lived as a girl. He was treated as a girl by his entire family until he became 8 on his 8th birthday, when his mother just realized that okay, this thing may not, like, it may not work out. So she breaks the news to the entire family that actually Perfect is a boy, not a girl. And yeah, we just see what happened. Like the book just goes from there. We see what happens to Perfect and his life after this. It's honestly, it was a very intriguing read. I enjoyed it. It's happiest book we've read this year, and I think for this I'll put Sweet Bean Paste. Like this book is a warm hug. Like if you want to feel like a book hugs you, like it ends on a hopeful and warm note. So I mean it's not, the topic discussed in this book is not necessarily happy, just that the way the book was written and the way it ends is very comforting and warm. So I kind of want to put it in this category because I also kind of want to plug it in. You should read Sweet Bean Paste. I skipped a question, so let's answer it. My favorite main character this year. And my favorite main character this year would be Anissa De Monte from Anissa De Monte Laughs Last. I love Anissa. Read Anissa De Monte Laughs Last. Especially listen to the audiobook. The audiobook is 10 over 10. Listen to the audiobook if you can't listen to the audiobook. The next is most frustrating book I've read this year, and that will be Housewoman by Adora Nwapa. And this is, I say Nwapa, Nora. Adora Nora. And this one is about a young girl who is made, like, she's kind of forced into marrying somebody. So they sent her to America to get married to a man. And part of the deal for marrying this man is that next 6 months she has to get pregnant for him. So she's in this like kind of forced marriage, and she's trying to get out of it while also trying to stay alive because her mother-in-law is actively trying to kill her. It's a lot, and my thing with this book is that I did not like, based on everything this girl has to go through in this book, I frankly thought she'll be able to, like, I thought this book would end differently. Like, I'm frustrated. I don't like the ending of this book. I don't like the ending. I wanted her to win. I wanted her to, like, give these people what they deserve tenfold and get away with it, but she didn't get away with it, which is frankly frustrating for me. But yeah, Housewoman, it's an interesting read but also very frustrating. Like the ending just pissed me off. I won't lie. Best adaptation for the year would be Bridgerton. That's it. Bridgerton. Longest book I've read this year. The longest book I've read this year would be Reaper at the Gates by Sahir. It's part of the Ember in the Ashes series. Love that series, by the way. If you haven't read this series, you should. It's really, really good. Shortest book I've read this year is Shut Up, You're Pretty by Tia Mutonji. That's like 135 pages long. It's a company of age short story collection that centers on this young girl. I think her name is Lola or something like that. She's a Congolese American girl, about basically her life, about how she navigates poverty, daughterhood, and womanhood in general, and abuse, because she was abused too. Babe went through a lot, and she has this very destructive behavior. It's a very interesting book. Like, after, I was mostly scared for this young lady, right, while reading her book. Like, girl, you are doing a lot. Well, yeah, it's an interesting read. You should. I feel like this is one of the books you have to read and decide for yourself if you liked it or not. Because after reading it, I was just like, wow, okay, this is something. Favorite cover this year? I think from the books I've read this year, I think one of my favorite covers is the cover for Between Friends and Lovers. Yeah, I really like the cover, and also the cover for Someone Better Than Broken. That's also a very nice cover. The cringiest book I've read this year would be why am I saying S? Jesus. The X by Frida McFadden. I did not like this book at all. Yeah, I thought everything about this book was cringy. Unpopular book I loved. Wow. Okay, so this particular prompt, I wanted to highlight some of the books I already talked about, which are Someone Better Than Broken and Drinking from Graveyard Wells, and even this one I just finished speaking about, Shut Up You're Pretty. Like, a lot of African short story collected a lot of African short story collections are actually very underrated. Like, they're not very popular, and I think they should, because like, if like, most of them are brilliant collections, and I think more people should be reading them. What was the highest and lowest rated books on Goodreads, and why I agree with the rating? So the highest rated book I have that I read this year was Miss Bond by Brandon Sanderson, and the lowest rated book this year was Someone Better Than Broken by Ama Shantewa Diaka. This one is a really good series, so I guess it deserves the hype. And then for the lowest rated books, I don't agree, because these are brilliant. Like, Someone Better Than Broken, it's a really good collection. It's a really good collection of short stories. So I don't understand why. Like, I wish it wasn't as unpopular as it was. I just feel like more people should read it. My favorite quote this year, and I actually have a few, but for the purpose of this video, I picked a quote from Sweet Bean Paste, which, by the way, you should read. So let me read it. All experiences add up to a life lived only as you could. I feel sure that the day will come when you can say, this is my life. You may never become a writer or a master cook, but I do believe there will be a time when you can stand tall as yourself in your own unique way. Anyway, that was from Sweet Bean Paste, guys. Go and read Sweet Bean Paste. It's a very short book, so it's like less than 200 pages, I believe. Honestly, something can finish in a day if you put your mind to it. Read Sweet Bean Paste, guys. A book you would reread, and first of all, I'll pick Only Big Bomb Master Tomorrow. This book is funny, and it presents heavy issues in a lighthearted way, but it's a really funny book, so it's something that I can definitely go back to. Also, Sweet Bean Paste, I think, yeah, Sweet Bean Paste is a book that I can definitely reread. Reading goal reflection for 2024, and my reading goals for 2025. My reading goal for 2024 was to read 50 books, because I didn't want to pressure myself too much with like putting 100 books or something, and so far I've read like 90 plus books, which I'm actually really proud of. Then what else? My reading goal, I think this year I'm really proud of like trying to read more diversity in general, because in terms of that, I actually, like, usually I read diversity obviously, but this year I read books from authors from North Africa, which is something I've never been able to accomplish. So I'm really proud of that fact, and hopefully next year I'll read more books by North African authors. And after 2024 reading, what am I prioritizing in 2025? I think I've already said it. I want to read more books from North African authors, read more West African books that are not set in Nigeria, read more Middle Eastern books that are written by women, and more Southeast Asian books. This has been a fun tag. Thank you so much for watching up to this point, and I hope to see you in my next one.